Okay, sorry about that. Wait, am I talking? Okay. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. I had a text and then a phone call come through, and when I got the phone call, I answered it, and it ruined the live. So I had to end the last live, and we're back. And Shaw,
Okay,
okay, can
yeah,
I hear you now? Yeah, okay, I can hear you now. We fixed that problem now.
I that to my phone too. If somebody called in, all of a sudden nobody could hear anything. 'Cause I do a lot of
Yeah,
video.
I did the same thing. I got a text, so I went to go answer the text. Well, they called, it was like, hey, where you at? I wonder why the garage door's open.
Oh, who's
Because I
that?
used my form, bam.
Oh no, no. I mean,
They
it's
looked
none
out,
of.
was like, yeah.
I was just
So
hoping
that's
it
what
was.
happened.
Yeah, I was just hoping it wasn't someone bad.
But yeah, when I came back, like, usually I can come back. Like, if something like that happens, I can get rid of it
Right.
real quick and I can come
Yeah.
right back. So when I came back, I'm hearing you talk like this. I couldn't hear you. Like, I can't
Yeah.
hear. And I'm like, what in the world?
Yeah. That's weird.
Like, it never does that. Usually I can click out, like, answer a phone call real quick or leave a comment like, hey, I got to answer a phone call real quick. I can answer the phone call, talk, whatever, and then come right
Right.
back into the stream. No issue.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that was bad timing.
Yeah, it
Because when I
was.
came back, like, I could barely hear you. And I guarantee it was the same thing. You could barely hear me. And I'm like, what in the world?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's good
Yeah,
now.
princess. Like, we had some technical difficulties. That's why I put on the comment, the last comment on the last live stream.
Yeah.
Hey, I've got some issues. Give me 2 minutes. I'll make another live. I'll be right back live. Like, I've never had a phone call like that, even from family or whatever.
Yeah.
And give me a second. I'm actually going to be smart when it comes to uh silenced.
Oh,
Oh, it was true. Snay was camping in a U-Haul van.
when? When? Who said that? Wait, for the most part, people.
Snake himself, he was doing a live in the back of a van with his two dogs in a bed. He was camping out literally in a U-Haul
Okay,
when he
what?
was doing his lives. That's how
I
he
bet.
got to Kokomo, Delphi, and was doing his lives. He rented a U-Haul van and literally had the van parked and was sleeping in the van. Like, that's devotion. I gotta hand to Rick Snay. That's fucking devotion.
How
As
much you
cold
want
as
to
it
bet?
has been,
How much you want to bet Greeno's sleeping with them in there? I'm not saying anything funny. I'm just saying because Greeno. I'm sure he doesn't have a place to live either.
oh yeah, then I wouldn't know about Noe, like him
Oh,
and Noe kind of made up. I could
well,
see
they all
Noe.
did. Greeno, him, and Noe did. Noe and him went to lunch, but Greeno
No,
they just met at the bridge and they were fine.
oh
Yeah.
Jesus.
And Noe, I guess that no, Snay said because remember, Snay is who Greeno threatened with that picture of the girl's throat slit.
And
So
Robin Chester, your booty hole in the toilet's gonna be meeting you soon. He said he's running to Taco Bell back in a few. I'm like, he's doing a colon cleanse. I don't know about you all, but anytime I eat Taco Bell, it's a colon cleanse.
oh my
I don't
god,
know what it is about Taco Bell. Oof.
that's fun. That's funny.
Robin's going for a colon cleanse.
Well, let's hope you're talking about Robin as a guy, because I guess we don't want to talk about Robin as a girl doing that. But hey, listen, let's
Girl, it
most
looks
part
like a female.
till
Robin, are you a male or a female? But they said I'm gotta run. Be
yeah,
back in a few going to Taco Bell. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
you're
they
gonna
probably.
regret that in the morning.
Mm-hmm. But so what I'm
Give me a
looking at.
second. I'm gonna let you talk for a second. I'm gonna have to mute because I gotta take a leak real quick. I
Go
don't
ahead.
think anybody wants to hear. So give me a few
Uh,
seconds. I'm gonna mute.
but you can hear me then.
Oh yeah, I
All
can
right.
hear you.
Okay, so I'm looking at what Robin said, And she said, for the most part, people were chill, but shitbag Noe was going around starting shit. Yeah, I saw that. Trolls from all the camps, Troll Farm, Profs, Chomo Trolls, Family Trolls, LE Trolls, Podcasters, and lawyers. And what's funny about that is, Prof's going to come out with a book, and it's not going to be about Delphi or Flora. It's going to be about trolls. And that's what his mission is, because for a year fucking straight, all he talks about is trolls. And it's actually one of the reasons why I don't even have an interest in watching him is because you get sick of hearing about the trolls. Because it's like he's constantly the victim, and I don't believe that. So I think
Okay,
that was
I'm back.
I think that was good, a good question from Robin. And I see all the troll, yeah. So I don't know
Yeah,
what
you
happened.
see that? I highlighted that comment.
Everybody was saying in another chat that what's his name? Bob Mata.
Yeah, Bob Mata.
He was going around interviewing people, and
And Bob, even as a defense lawyer and everything he's talked about, him going around talking to everybody, I can get that from him not knowing really anybody in person, kind of talking to everybody. But when two lives back, Frank Meister, go to the 35-minute mark. The first time Bob Mata came up to him, he's talking about, if I fucking acted, I had plenty of backup right there around the courthouse.
Yeah, well, say today.
What I wanted to fucking do to fucking Bob Mata, blah, blah, blah. This is what he had in his mind. The 35-minute mark, then the 39 through 40. If Rick is not guilty, he's a dead man walking.
Yeah, Greeno threatened Bob Mata in court. Because he went to go sit next to Kathy.
And Bob's been blocking him.
Yeah, and it's like he's cock blocking him, but really it's because Greeno's trying to threaten her.
Mm-hmm.
And
if you know what's good for you, he might as well fucking plead guilty.
Yep. Oh, I love this comment. Robin, I love you.
Oh, you see the comment I highlighted?
It's a prophet.
Ding, ding, ding.
And all he talks about is trolls. She's fucking right. He's fucking right. I'm telling.
And all of them are right there around the courthouse.
Why did he stick around just to talk about fucking trolls for a year? Come on, there was so much stuff. It's like talking about Bridge Guy the whole time. You know what I mean?
I love this one. There's another one. Read the posted comment, like the pinned comment.
Oh, well, listen, that's all he does is start shit now. I mean, he's on the defense all the time. Anywhere that there's drama, Noe's there for Prop. And Noe has his own channel, but, Prop never lets him put it on his own fucking channels. So it just all goes on Prop and he gets all the credit. But you know what? That's fine. He can do that. I ain't mad at him. Whatever. But
in the back of my mind, with Greeno saying all he has to do is make a fucking couple phone calls, I already got people wanting me dead.
It's true.
Then I'm sitting here. That's another thing in the back of my mind. If I was to show up and not let anybody know when I was going, where I was going, where exactly what time I'm going to be there, I have this bad, sick feeling. If I did show up, my bulletproof vest was going to be on. My AR was going to be in my backpack with the mags, both for my Glock and my AR. The mags I keep on my hip in a quick release. So I have 16 bullets in my Glock. Then I've got 30 sitting on my hip.
Yeah.
Then if I need to, the AR class will stock wherever I go legally, where I can.
Mm-hmm.
It's with me. So if I was going to show up tomorrow, you bet my ass.
Well,
my bulletproof vest is going to be on.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think you're going to be safe going there because there's a lot of heated exchange going on. And
but
tomorrow,
depending on the verdict, when I do show up, they're not going to be able to touch me because I'm going right into the courthouse. I'm going right into protection because I'm going to be a witness.
Is that what you're thinking? If you tell all while you're there, you'll be safe? because if that's what you're thinking, that's fine. But I don't want you going there, starting shit or anything, and then they give you reason to get in fucking trouble, and then you got a gun.
Oh, it's the same thing. Noe and Snay was trying to start shit with. This is one thing I do have to say on Frank's fucking behalf. Yeah, I'm fucking legally carrying. Yeah, it's on me. Yeah, they fucking know it's on me.
Mm-hmm.
Was right in front of a cop saying, "Are you carrying?" Damn straight it's on me. Trying to get him in trouble in front of a cop saying, but then they were going back to, yeah, I do agree with him on the whole, what the fuck he said about Rick and them confronting. Hey, what the fuck did it come out of your mouth that if Rick's not guilty, the talk amongst yourselves, they were talking amongst, like, outside of the courthouse, the talk of the outside, what they're hearing is if Rick is not guilty, he's a walking dead man. Yeah. It's the talking amongst themselves is what they left out. The talking amongst themselves is pretty much talking about hunting him down. He's a dead man walking.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, I'm telling you.
And if he was not guilty, if I was there with the bulletproof vest, you think I wouldn't hit Andrew up? Hey, I'm outside. My bulletproof vest is on me. Here, come get this. I'll get it off to you. Get it off to you later at an undisclosed location. You think I would hesitate to put that bulletproof vest on Rick if he is found not guilty and walks out?
Right.
They would hate that because I guarantee you they'll let me keep the Hunting Evil True Crime in camo. I've gone in front. You'll see Hunting Evil True Crime bulletproof vest, mine, on Rick if he is not guilty if I was there tomorrow. Wow. Him walking out, them trying to act, it's got the side plates as well as the front and back plates. So any direction, they got to try to hit upper mass. Mm-hmm. And with a weapon, trying to do a headshot is next to impossible. But if I threw that bulletproof vest on Rick, if he was not guilty tomorrow, with the side plates pretty much covering all vitals on the side, and then the ceramic up to 7.62 plus, front and back, all sides, it goes up to like higher caliber rifles is what it's rated for.
Yeah.
And that's what it freaks me out the most. I could see somebody going live and taking his damn life, making a name for themselves, doing it live.
Who? Oh, who? Richard?
Yeah, if they were to act on Richard's life or hunt him down or take his life, I could see ones like Renee doing it live, going, I need to do what's done to make a fucking name, national, international name. The one that was not guilty was killed by Anthony Charles Greeno, to put his name out there in international and fucking fame. I could see sick people like him doing it just to make a fucking name for themselves.
Right. No, I definitely. Hey, can you see what's the last thing I got, Robin? I can't see Pain in the Ass. Is Pain in the Ass still in here?
Yeah.
You can see them? Okay.
That one, hold on. They're all trolls bullies. They start shit and just want clicks and views. Oh, don't forget Robin. Robin's depending. His retirement's fucking blah 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 running out. He's depending on the subs, the members and donations. He's dependent on it now.
He gets so pissed because everybody gives to everybody else. But you know what? He sits there like mini me, and he sits there and he like rubs his hands together like, yeah, I'm gonna get all this money because I did all this work. Fuck you.
ACB is a 12-month member. One of my longest members. Erin Town became one of Prof Good Old Buddies. She was a member of mine for about 6 months. Yeah. I ended up banning. I was like going on and being best buddies with a con artist that openly admitted that him and his Discord buddies were all working together on trying to pry everything I know out of me for
Yeah,
content, for money.
and he did lie about that though, just so you know.
Oh yeah, I know because I asked him about the content creators and some of the names. He
They
was
were not
hiding a lot of shit.
they were not content creators, none of them.
Well, like he said, it was like the ones in the chat. They're
There was,
following.
who was in there? Two sextortion girls that he hired, or not maybe paid for, but two sextortionists. Okay, they're
Free
floating,
consent.
and
She was.
Prof will
I even
tell
called
you.
her out. Are you trying to pry information out of me? Trying to use nudes and acting like you're interested in me? What come to
Well,
find out? The
Prof will talk about trolls and everything else, but he's Louise has been his sextortionist. I don't know about Preckerson. I know she's a sex worker, but I don't think he has anything to do with it. But then again, some weird shit's been happening with her because she suddenly became a mod in Joe's chat after
huh.
after Prof had sent him a bunch of information about people saying that they were all sex workers and shit, and then Joe started at these accusations, and it was like everybody knew where it was fucking coming from. I mean, it was lies, and it's listen, I don't trust anybody anymore. I just don't. I just don't.
And just like I learned with Scout, aka Do Reflections, off of
Yeah.
Reddit,
Hmm.
I have got no ulterior motives, and uh, I don't know any of these content creators, or I won't be going on any content creators page like with anything you told me. Like it's staying right between us to jump on to fucking Robin's live.
Right.
But she's like, I shot your page out, this, that, and the other. I'm like, that doesn't do shit. The email you sent him, then selling and promising him that a lot more information you're about to email him on what you found out via me is coming to him.
Hmm.
And I'm like, you know what? Fuck you and the
That's
horse you rode in on.
well, that's okay because you know what? People that are greedy, it doesn't get them much further than a turtle. Okay,
Oh
so
yeah. And my whole thing is the oath I took at the age of
mhm,
17, before I was even an adult. I
yeah,
took an oath to my people and my nation and her people. That includes the troubled community that like Tyler French is saying, I'm just going after dealers and people in the troubled community, and oh, we're changing and this, that, and the other. And in between scriptures, he was talking about I've got what's coming to me, and when he comes, I can't hide behind a screen when he comes. In between
hmm,
scriptures, trying to, I'm a God fearing man now, and I had nothing in that, this, that, and the other. But in between scriptures, like I said, email me sometime and I'll show you the full email. But he was
hmm.
trying to use scriptures, and in between different scriptures he was talking about, he was doing these threats.
Who are you talking about, Prof?
No, Tyler Joe French.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I
Oh
don't.
yeah, he was using scriptures because him and his wife going to church now, just like Alan Tinker, a murderer, is going to church down in Putnamville, like that area,
Hmm.
and showing that him and his baby mama Jasmine Bowen, which I thought it was funny, 2024, Jasmine Bowen down in Putnamville, like
Hmm.
right outside of Westville, got a meth possession of meth charge. So she's a meth whore that still has not changed her ways.
Right.
But then you've got Alan Tinker on my case, 2024, trafficking narcotics with
Hmm.
a inmate charge.
Oh.
That's the reason he got out with a ankle bracelet,
Hmm.
being out on early release. He's on home detention, and he just did a fatal federal mistake on him tampering with me. Well, I'm glad you said that. I'm taking this to law enforcement because I was like, yeah, when you come, when you come to make your little visit,
Hmm.
if it's not for the fucking good and you got to act something stupid, then yeah, there's going to be bullets. Seeing you soon then.
Well, there's 35 different, not law enforcement officers, but like all together, like from, all different ranks.
But
35.
like I was bringing up earlier in the other life, where why I've been watching is if Derek, in fact, went from taking the charges, became state witness, and got charges on people, this is where, for them to make these state and local cases and using individuals like him, the witness, like informant and witness rights and protections come into play. And when there's murders that are involving witnesses, informants, and like the murders on his daughter, when that is in play and it's proven it's individuals, they acted over who and what they were and killed them or their family, it's 30 years per charge, and that's before any other charges. So this is what makes me sick, where Doug Carter's going on and going live right after the girl's death. The threat no longer remains. There is no threat. He flat out lied. If you're part of that troubled community, it's proven. Jeremy Patterson, 96 days later, part of the same troubled community. They tried saying it was drugs, just like Nicole Bowen, but I got information where they knew information. They were going to locals. It got leaked. How do you think Kurtz knew who was going to roll on him and what about?
Right.
The ones that they went forward to with information that they were willing to turn witness and informant against. How do you think Kurtz knew who was going to roll on him and about what? It wasn't about the drugs like they made it painted off as, is why they killed her to protect the drug ring and the operation they belonged to. I heard from her own family.
Yeah.
She was going to tell them and she was going to come forward with the law, and it's about the murders. That's why she lost her life. And how the Odinism, like pain in the ass, said, anyone still here?
I think
I'm like, we had what, over 21 in the last live, then technical issues. We had to restart. We're back up to 13 now.
Yeah, that's okay because 13. That we're good. So listen,
and that's another thing I got to do on the last live real quick is like once we get done.
Yeah,
I've got it. So what Prof did on his apocalypse, I've got every live, every video, every short, anything I do not allow remixing and them able to.
You said you were going to put a watermark on everything, and then I saw.
It is. If you look at my bottom watermark, The Walking Dead man,
true.
There were some people that brought up a movie that was made in Kokomo, Hungry Eyes. You've heard about that, haven't you? The director of Hungry Eyes and some of the ones around him being issues. Well, I kind of brought up to everybody, if you actually look up Hungry Eyes, the second zombie that got turned in the bathroom, the first zombie technically bit me after I was talking about, oh shit, you ate that chicken too? Girl, you and leaving.
Come on, I can't help it. I don't,
But what I was getting at on Hungry Eyes, the second zombie that turned and helped with all that, like the Hungry Eyes and the other zombies.
Yeah.
The first zombie bit me. I turned, and the sound effects, like I did, like the perfect zombie sound. So throughout the fucking movie, you hear the zombie sound like I made, like when I came to life, and they changed, like had me in contacts So when I changed, my eyes were like this glass white, and the sound I did, they redid the sound throughout that movie. It was when they needed like the zombie sound, like I
Mhm.
did so damn good with it. They patched my sound like overlay on a lot of throughout that movie when they needed like zombie sounds.
Mhm.
Like I don't know if it was like or something like how I did it was okay. What does a zombie really sound like? Or something like that. It was just how I did it when I kind of came back to life
Yeah.
and that scene ended. And my God, thinking about it, my head was right next to and hanging onto a unclean urinal. Other than them coming to just doing their normal, but everybody coming through there was using that urinal, and they had me. Oh, rest your head on the urinal. And thinking back, I looked at them right after that. I went over to the um, sink and was washing my face and my hair off. Like, you had my fucking head on a used urinal before I came back to life. And I'm like, before you do anything else or whatever, like me, any extra parts or anything like that, I'm like, before you do anything else, hold up, or any retakes, my ass is going over to the sink and hot water and soap. I'm washing my damn face off, my hair off before we do anything else. But when it comes to like the director in Hungry Eyes and people having bringing up issues about him and kind of his past and others' past, there's another group making films, Canary Currency. A lot of these dealers, gangbangers, they're pretty much reliving and editing like their script on actual issues going on with that ring in the gang life. They're in Kokomo, but they're rescripting it, making it false names, false like setups. How do you think they're getting their script and kind of oh this and this going on? It's real life, but they're making money out of making it into a script and oh fake, and it's just nonfiction or fiction. Yeah, fiction. It's all made up and it's just scripts. But it's a lot of these dealers and gangbangers are right now. You can find like if they still have it, Canary Currency. They've got it on Amazon, Netflix. Kind of, they got some deals on episodes. But you look into happenings and events, deaths, and everything like right there in Kokomo, and then you start watching some of these Canary Currency episodes, and you're like, what the fuck are the chances? They changed the names, the stories, how it happened, and make it a new episode for Canary Currency. But when people are bringing up Hungry Eyes and the director, I always thought that director was a little fucking off. And I knew some of the ones that were helping him were in around that drug ring. And we had her kids were extras at the very end of that movie, like in parts where we had kids there at the set. Hell, if you look up Hungry Eyes, like filming in Logansport at the radio, are you still there? What the hell? I guess back out and come back in. I can't hear you. You're not. Either you got your mic muted, or you dropped. But you haven't dropped because I haven't had the doink. Okay, now I'm waiting for it. See, is she gonna come back? But yeah, if you look up Hungry Eyes and the director, and I'm waiting for this. I knew it was coming.
All right, gotcha. I gotcha. I don't know what the fuck,
Yeah,
dude.
I was looking. I was like, I can't
Maybe
hear you. But if
about
you ask around, look around, people talking about the director of Hungry Eyes and then bringing up Hungry Eyes and some of
yeah.
the people that did that movie,
Mm-hmm.
it makes me sick because each filming, the one that got the notoriety and then like the FX like costume like FX makeup, my
Yeah.
ex was the one doing damn
Oh,
near
really?
all of the deep, real looking zombies. Like my look, like my if you look my
Seeing a picture.
copyright,
Yeah, I remember seeing a picture of you like that with the makeup on.
yeah, her doing the boils and everything like that, making it look legit and
Yeah.
like messed up skin and stuff like that. The young girl that got the credit in IMDb credits and everything was
Right.
only half-assly kind of doing some shitty makeup like FX wise, but it was my ex that never got the notoriety. This is the FX makeup artist that made Hungry Eyes and the zombies look
Mm-hmm.
legit.
Yeah. No,
And
that's cool.
Lord, I can tell you right now, Hershey syrup, red, any colored like Kool-Aid.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, we did like chocolate grounds, like the to make it a little bit like chunky at times. You could use
Yeah.
coffee grounds or like cocoa beans, like crushed up cocoa beans,
Mm-hmm.
because tasting like ground coffee, no. But if you do like ground chocolate beans, we
Mm-hmm.
found tastes a hell of a lot better. It's a little bit dark and kind of bitter, but it tastes better than coffee grounds to make it kind of coagulated or kind of. But I can make, and I'm not gonna lie to you, when they made the tubs of the fake blood, it's edible,
Oh,
non-staining, and it tastes like chocolate. So I'm sitting here as one of the main casts during the start of this,
yeah.
and you've got blood in your mouth, and kind of like, I'm sitting here eating the fucking edible blood. Like, this shit's good. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, anytime you want this in my mouth, have at it. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm eating it like as they're making it. I'm going over to like the prop like table,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm getting in trouble because I'm going over like everybody else, getting like a couple spoonfuls, like yum yum yum. I'm like, boy, it tastes good. It looks real, it looks legit, but
Yeah.
boy, does it taste good.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I kept getting in trouble like a along with a few other in the cast.
Mm-hmm.
We would have a bad habit by the time they make it, and all of us kind of sampling it and kind of going back to the prop table. They'd
Mm-hmm.
have to make more because people were kind of snacking on the fake
Blood.
blood.
Disgusting, but yeah, I get it.
But when somebody brought up the director and a few others that were involved on Hungry Eyes, I shocked the shit out of people. If you look up Hungry Eyes, the second zombie that turned,
Mm-hmm.
I was talking about some snatch or some of the fucking wordings. I looked at them. I was like, this shit sounds stupid as hell. And if it's coming out of my mouth, I'm gonna just wing it, like to make it sound like it's something that's actual a bar conversation, especially in the shitter.
Right.
Some conversation that's going on,
Mm-hmm.
and how they worded it, I'm like a typical straight male talking to another guy that's taking it. I'm like, that's supposedly what it started off. It sounded like he's grunting and moaning and taking a heavy in the
Mm-hmm.
stall. And my dumbass character decided to push the stall door open, and that's when he kind of tacked and I got pushed back to the urinals and bitten in the process and died.
Yeah. Wow.
And I had people, if you look throughout that, you'll see me as a extra kind of crawling, kind of like at the Logan Sport, like there's a Logan Sport like radio station we
Mhm.
did filming at. Like there was one girl, I don't know how this poor girl with shorts and everything, she had scratches all up and down her because she's one of these being a smart ass. She's like, nobody's like crawling.
Mhm.
So this poor girl in shorts was an extra zombie. Well, she started doing it, and I'm like, nobody else is doing it. And I'm like, so I made her not look like such a outcast. So there's parts you'll see me kind of walking, kind of stumbling up to the doors and stuff. But then there's some scenes where I'm kind of back here. She's telling like everybody, like being the last one coming up. So I
Mhm.
wasn't doing exactly everything she was doing, but I kind of made her where she wasn't the oddball out, the very last one coming up. So crawling, like she was dragging herself. Like I'd crawl kind of beside her and kind of make it where she's not the only one back there, so they didn't cut her out of it because you could barely see her. So if you had two back there, kind of telling everybody else, kind of crawling or like she was dragging herself, I'm like
Mhm.
I just felt bad. Like she was all back here by herself, kind of doing everything, and to get
Yeah.
it little bit more kind of eyes on. Like this
Mhm.
girl's doing a hell of a job. I'm like, nobody's kind of following her lead. So I'm like, hell, a couple doing it kind of gets more eyes on instead of just one you can barely see. We got a
Yeah.
couple back there kind of acting the same way, like you can't walk or. I'm like, dude, she was brilliant at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I brought up to somebody when they brought up Hungry Eyes, the director, some issues they found with it, and people were involved. I was right along with them. But like
Yeah.
I told them, I was like, surprise. When it comes to Hungry Eyes, I was one of the characters. I was in Hungry Eyes.
Yeah.
Like, no way. And I was like, yeah.
What's up? It says, for some reason, I don't think Derek is the reason. I think Cody reset the phone. I think that too.
I'm feeling
I
that, but
think,
at the same time, when I've got Anna Williams in 2021 swearing up and
Mhm.
down, none of the families were involved in any drug rings. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about that. The same 2021 where I was talking about that, you've got Del Wood
Mhm.
getting busted, dealing in meth in 2021 when he was busted.
Yeah.
And I'm like, huh. But you got Del Wood, other family dealers, Michaela Babcock, which is actually during the time,
Yeah.
just days before Libby was supposed to have the slumber party with her at her
Mhm.
house, the locals busted at her house and her on maintaining a common nuisance
Yeah, you said that.
on narcotic charges. She was facing felony
Did she go to jail?
maintaining a common nuisance
Did she go
and
to jail?
legend drugs
Yeah.
charges. And they knew her house was a active drug house and got her for maintaining a common nuisance,
But
along with
was
like it was supposedly spice, like the fake weed. And
yeah.
then they said there was legend drugs, which would be narcotics,
Yeah.
and got her for that. So I'm like,
Was
this
she in
just
jail?
tells you if she did stay with Michaela, this is what Mike and Becky was
Yeah.
letting her go stay at a active drug house with somebody
Mhm.
that was facing felony uh charges
Yeah.
that were active the night she was supposed to stay with her.
I listen. That's all a story. That's bullshit. All of a story. Something happened to Libby on Friday night.
And this is where everybody keeps talking about like the 12th, something happened the 12th, it might have happened the 12th. That's where Tina even kind of slips up. First was talking about 12th. Oh, no, wait.
The
I got it
12th,
wrong. The 13th.
that was the 12th was when they got Abby. Libby was already gone by Friday. On Friday. Like at least Friday night or Saturday morning. But
And the one thing that blows my mind is the ever changing stories.
mm-hmm.
Even when they took the stand,
Oh
the
my
witness
god.
and others, the
I
ever
listened
changing stories. It was never the same story. It just like Karina's.
I just listened to Burn After Reading for some reason because I know he doesn't like Reno, and I was just looking at it, and he's a total family, sympathizer. But he was reading word for word what prosecution witnesses were saying, and I tell you, every single fucking one of them committed perjury, including
Yeah.
Steve Mullins and every prosecutor. And tell me this. Tell me, why would they not have a blood spatter expert that was at the scene and not just looking at pictures? Because I've always heard that when they were done with the crime scene, it was immaculate. There was no sign of it.
And give me a second. Like I am in the garage, but if you look up Indiana, it's pretty chilly right now. So give me a second. I'm gonna put my phone in my pocket and put it on
Oh,
mute.
all right,
I'm
go
gonna use
ahead.
my I'm gonna use my leg braces and my forearm crutches. I'm going in
Oh,
the house, so give me about 4 minutes,
okay.
and I gotta get to my room. But give me a few minutes, and I'm gonna mute it, and I'll be right back with you.
All right, cool. I'll be here.
So if you got a few questions like the Q&A,
Yeah,
I'm listening. I got my headphones on, so I am listening.
you can talk or just
I'll
listen.
talk. Well, I'll listen, like hear the questions, whatever. Then I
Okay.
answer when I get back to my room real quick.
You
But
see the
I got fam sleeping right now, so I've got to kind of be quiet going in.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
okay. Yeah, I do. Yep,
But
I
yeah, give
get
me
it.
a second. I'll be back with you.
Okay.
But yeah, like I said, I'm using one forearm crutch right now, but uh, like I said, I can hear you. You're in my ears, so if you
Yeah.
start asking some questions when I get done, I'll answer them. Makes sense.
All right, cool. Yeah, you want me to answer them like with my mouth or with the typing?
Well, you can ask them. Like I'm hearing you in my
Okay.
headphones.
Okay.
I'm in the process of heading in now.
Okay. Okay. Um, I heard that Cody Patty did something on the 6th or on the 7th with the mother of his child, and I really, really trust this person. And he said that there was something that was major that happened with Cody Patty and someone else. Now, whether it was a murder, whatever, but Libby was a witness. And they said that that day, that's why I'm trying to find out when were the phones reset. But that day was the day that Cody Patty reset all the phones after he ordered the hit on Libby. And he knew that she was going to tell Abby, or maybe Abby was possibly there. And it sounds like it was something that happened with Cody Patty's baby's mama. And I can't stop from thinking that. So then I'm thinking, okay, so we got Cody Patty who orders the hit because whatever happened and she knows, like, okay, so what did he do? So did him and Kelsey do it, and then Brad Weber and that whole group actually that all live right there. Shane Evans, Travis Evans is the most suspicious to me because he should have been in prison and he wasn't. He was out on prison. He was out on bail and he fucking got 150 years, dude. That's worse than, I mean, he held the girl captive. It was molesting her for I think like 3 years or something like that. And
that's another thing I've heard. And there's supposed to have been messages, like things talked about it.
yeah,
Only busting a nut in her one time.
well, no,
Like
that's
I've heard
Cody.
about that being said
You know
from
what I
Cody.
heard? I heard that that is a that's it's full of shit. Okay, listen. Do you know who Jack Doctoroff is?
Not right off
Okay,
hand.
he's a
That's a new
man.
name to me.
He's a man. I'm so glad because you will know so much after that, and he is the reason why I figured out a lot of stuff. But if you go to Jack Doctor, he was a man of facts. Like he didn't fuck around. You know, he looked up everything he could on the Patty family. We don't know who he is, but he's somebody that knows a lot about the family, and he led.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
another thing. Like some of the information, like that Dillard that was raided in 2015 in Frankfurt,
Hmm.
some of her messages when it talks to the politicians with financial incentives within the cartel drug ring,
Hmm.
she was talking about things like that in the local politicians there, like Delphi and surrounding areas, and
Yeah.
their financial incentives and parts of like their own involvement.
Hmm.
That's nothing like with her saying that, I was like, whoa, I was already seeing it. Like, if you look up, and I've told everybody, like, to kind of get on my level and kind of what I can see, it
Hmm.
was the criminal network analysis and the same criminal network analysis like you see on like William Duff, like Nita Duff's son,
Hmm.
Dilling. He's friends with Derek. Then Blaine McClellan.
I
What the
know that.
fuck are Dillers? Like Blaine McClellan,
Yeah.
Dilling partners with Derek and her other families, like members. What
Hmm.
the hell is a 2014 Diller that was raided the same day, same time as Derek, doing on a 14-year-old's Facebook friends list?
Oh.
If you criminal background, all the ones sitting on uh like even the family members that are dealing like Dell Woods and
Hmm.
others,
Yeah.
what the fuck are all these dealers and their dealing partners and their buddies doing on a 14-year-old little girl's Facebook friends list?
Maybe they're related. Maybe they're related. Listen. Everybody in fucking Delphi is related. I know. I figured out a bunch of shit. They're all
And like
fucking related.
I think it's fucked up because that's another thing. Like Prof and others, like, yeah, I think it's the drug ring and fucking blah blah blah. They're fucking reverbing everything I've said, and then I still say it's this, that, and the other, and they're bringing this shit up, and then like now
Yeah.
instead of knowing I'm going to fucking charge, like I'm not gonna fuck around with YouTube, like on the
Mhm.
copyright
Oh no,
violations.
it's a waste of time.
It's a federal issue when I
Mm.
have got copyrighted uh like content. It's
Hmm.
copyrighted and it's under the federal statute of the federal copyright infringement laws.
Hmm.
So why should I fuck around with YouTube on just getting you struck or getting your page down when like you see he's got the backup page made now? That's
Yeah.
why. It's me that caused him to get that page because I looked. I was like, do you realize how many times I've got you? I got not once, not twice, not three times through all these years using my shit as your own work and then uh, bringing up like my lives or videos and putting it in like as a apocalypse video. If you
Hmm.
look at that, my live where I was talking about Brad Holder and a few other things, like what they're trying to be. How I
Yeah.
got that was uh, Kyle Stacy, his Sons of Odin.
Yeah.
It's the whole Sons of Odin, like motorcycle club, fake merch,
The
the
heathens.
jacket he had.
The
Yeah,
kindred. The ones are kindred.
it's the Indiana Tears TYR S, Indiana, Tears, Hellhounds, Norse and Pagan Kindred. And if you look up the Book of Troth, Troth,
Yeah.
that Kyle Stacy was reliving every February 16th. He was reliving his posts like the Book of Troth by Edmund, E.D., M-U-N-D, Thorson. It's Thorrrson, a Book of Troth.
Okay.
And if you look at the Book of Troth, you'll see where they got the Sons of Odin name. It is whatever kindred they make, they use the Book of Troth, and whatever the kindred has warriors, or in this place, killers of this kindred, they are the Sons of Odin. So that Book of Troth is see where the Sons of Odin kind of, it's the warriors and killers of that kindred.
Do you think that maybe it's like Occam's razor and it's not as hard as we all think it is? And I, in my opinion, I think the crime has been solved since 8 years ago. They know who did it. And Kelsey has something to do with it. Cody Patty and Kelsey have something to do with it.
But another thing is, like I brought up to Mike, and then I even was looking up myself, if they thought it was seminal fluid, like it had the same look, but they couldn't get any DNA from it to show that it was in fact seminal fluid. And this goes back to, if you look up what Tina said they had stored and ready, the peroxide and baking soda.
Yep.
That doesn't just get rid of blood stains in the DNA. But like I even brought up to Mike Oshbrook, I was like, I was just thinking all of a sudden, I'm like, and I looked at him and I started looking this up. I was like, back to what Tina said, where they had baking soda and peroxide boxes full, like shoe boxes full.
Yeah.
Already ready there at Gabe Ellis's daughter's apartment.
Yeah.
It's premeditated. They knew it was going to be a bloody mess, and just like Karina, they needed to have the supplies ready to clean up the evidence.
Yeah.
And Tina let that slip. But when I asked Mike, I was like, I haven't heard back from him yet. But I was like, you with your law mindset and forensics and stuff like that, I looked at him. I was like, if that wasn't back seminal fluid and the girls were wiped down with the baking soda and peroxide mixture,
right,
it would cause like the DNA. And then when I looked up like seminal fluid, it breaks down like something structures, and it's like the acids of the peroxide itself will break down the DNA profile of semen and even blood. It will break that down so you can no longer get a DNA sample, even if it was seminal fluid. And the reason I was thinking about this is you've got to keep in mind. But you notice where they couldn't.
They did figure out that it was seminal fluids, and then they said it was from an ISP officer, and it did not have any sperm in it. That means that it was a guy from the ISP that had a vasectomy. The 27 hairs are right from Kelsey's head.
Fuck.
Yeah.
But then I'm not really saying what the fuck when it comes to ISP, because Tony Slocum. If that happened to be Tony Slocum, his the Odinism issue is like a 3-part issue, and like I've got to break this down to make it make sense.
Yeah.
The militia issue. Yeah. The AP3, from being a ranking officer helping running the AP3, getting it going and all that.
Yeah.
I was an FBI snitch put in as a high ranking officer within American Patriots 3%.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I said in the last live, hey, Brad, you remember your American Patriots contact sheet, including every officer, the contact information?
Mm-hmm.
How about you go grab the American Patriots 3%, AP3,
Mm-hmm.
your contact list where it has all your guys' contact information, then the ranking officers, like email, phone number, kind of contact information for your ranking officers. And look up
Mm-hmm.
Michael Phillips, the chief medical officer of the American Patriots 3%. One of your chief officers of your militia, ones like Jeff Brackett, Kim Thomas, Brad
Mm-hmm.
Holder. But then I want to say something when it comes to Brad. Not only was he reliving it just like the rest, but his February 11th, 2018, where him and
Mm-hmm.
Amber was posting recruiting for the Indiana Fears Hellhounds.
Yeah.
They posted that yet again, February 11th, 2018.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he was even telling Brad and Andy, I was like, when it comes to her back tattoo, that's another thing. Do Reflections just brought that up. Like on when it comes into like the Richard Allen innocent, she's the
Mm-hmm.
reason I left. Her ulterior motives and what she did made me sick, and I was like, for once, it felt like a Reddit group that I kind of fit in. I was like getting upvotes and kind of listen to it. Oh my God, look it! It's like
Right.
a Reddit group that I kind of fit in at and actually felt kind of
Yeah.
at ease.
Yeah. I'm
And
banned for the rest of my life for some reason. I have no idea why.
but others like Dick to Delphi, I was banned
Yeah.
for what telling the truth.
Yeah. Well, you got it. Every time I go to say something, it's like says I have bad karma. I don't have enough to make a comment, so I'm banned from it for the rest of my life.
And good night, Robin, and be safe.
Yes. Good night, Robin.
They must have been on lunch break. I think that's
Yeah.
what they said on my lunch break. I'm going to uh,
Oh
Taco
yeah.
Bell.
Yep. Yep. Hey from Scotland. Hi, Mom Life.
See another one from Scotland.
Yep. Hi. Hi.
And yes, I am a Scotland football fan, thanks to another one and her husband from Scotland. And they've
Mhm.
already told me when I come, they will make sure to get the extra good seats and actual meet the players. They've
Yeah.
got like lifetime tickets for I don't want to get it wrong. I swear to God, like Mom Life, is it? I don't want to say this wrong. I swear to God, they said it was uh Rangers or the Scotland football team. Like I'm not talking about football. I'm talking about football, like soccer,
Yeah.
but it's football over there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
uh, yeah, Mom Life's gonna be like, damn straight. Yeah, thanks to
Mhm.
another Scotland couple that I became friends with, that
Yeah.
same way as her, how I got to know the football team and became a fan. They're
Yeah.
like, you ever come here, we're going to see. They've got me a fan, and they're fucking damn good at football. I never watched football, like other than like NFL, like here in America.
Yeah.
I never got into football, and like if it wasn't for my kidney failure, these fucking Scots, like holy fudge, is
Yeah.
it? I swear, was it Scotland or is it?
Oh, it's many of those states like
Well, hold
Scotland.
on. Scotland's like the Irish, so what's
Yeah.
not Scotland, but it's
Well, there's Scotland and Ireland and Greenland and
Oh yeah,
some.
it is Scotland because I was thinking about Ireland. Ireland's Scott.
Mhm.
Like yeah, no, it's Scotland is where the two friends of mine from, and they've got me turned into a football fan of their football team.
Yeah.
And like they said, we'll get you a damn like jersey, like the whole get up, like we'll take care of you. But these damn Scots, my wife's gonna laugh.
Hmm.
They can drink like fish out of water
Oh yeah.
and walking, having a good old time, drunker than a fucking skunk.
Yep.
These Scots, these damn Scottish, like they find every excuse to drink. Then when they drink, they can drink like a fish out of water.
Oh, where I live, they have a thing every year, and it's a 3-day thing, and that's all they do is fucking drink.
And I'm seeing how much she and her friends are drinking, and when her husband goes out with
Hmm.
her and her husband are drinking like fish and like shit faced drunk, like stumbling around in their. I'm like, if we were to take drinks and go walking outside in America, we're
Yeah.
getting like
Yeah. Trouble.
walking with like we're getting public intoxication.
Hmm. Yep. Yep.
Let's drink. It's raining. Let's drink. See, yep, that's us.
Yeah.
And they're able to walk around with open containers, drinking drunk as shit, and not getting public intoxication, and just having drunker and shit. Like she was showing me some like events they have like during the football games, kind of everybody's drunk and a damn skunk right before this, like how it would be like tailgate for us.
Yeah.
They do like parties in the streets leading up to these football games before and after,
Hmm.
and everybody's drunk and a damn skunk, fucking having a good old time in the streets, and then or streets events like she
Yeah.
showed me,
Yeah, they're having fun.
and I'm like, see, really drunk off her ass and causing fights. See, if we were to do that, drunk and a damn skunk walking the streets, we're getting public intoxication. We're going right to jail. Don't
Right.
go past go. Don't collect 200. Your ass is going right to jail.
Yep.
And
Well.
I'm sitting here watching some of the times like where her and her friends are out just like like street events, like uh
Yeah.
oh hey, this person's playing live here and we're all gonna meet up and have drinks and kind of listen to this person doing like live music or performing. And she's showing herself and her friends just drinking like a fish out of water, drunker than a
Hmm.
skunk walking around, drinking let you walk away just to piss you off more. See, I can't wait to go to Scotland. If it wasn't for my damn only one kidney and kidney failure,
Yeah.
I'm afraid I would not be able to. I'd be like passed out drunk, fucking not being able to walk.
Yeah. Yep.
And like they said, mum life. That's great. And you see what she's talking about. They'll pull your drink out and tell you to go home just to
Yeah.
piss you off even more. And I'm watching her lives and her friends like uh fucking bloody twat, and I'm like, I'm starting to pick up some of the fucking the
Lingo.
way they cuss, the way they cuss. You fucking bloody twat, and I'm like, oh my god, I love it. Instead of you fucking asshole, you dick or anything like how they fucking do their lingo is freaking priceless.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you know Lana from Truth and Transparency? The other day she said, she cracks me up. She said, she says shit all the time, but the only one I can remember
What
is
the
she
fuck?
walked outside and she was hot and she said, Scottish law coming in soon. So she said,
Yeah. If
oh my
you
God,
if you
I'm
make a
wedding.
post on Twitter insulting someone, you may be arrested. New Scottish law coming in soon. So freedom
Oh,
of speech over there is now having freedom of speech police. That's
oh,
it's not the only European Union, like EU
yeah,
country. And I thought that flag was like I knew that flag. No
yeah.
wonder. it's Scottish that became like international. Like they've got like thought police,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew when she said something like that, I was like, the thought police. Like no freedom, they're taking their like freedom of speech away. They can't insult somebody or they're going to jail.
Right.
I'm like, hell, it sounds like Sharia law.
Right.
You got the Sharia law police. If you are caught without a hijab, stoning death for you. That's
Mm-hmm.
fucked up, mom.
Yeah.
All the
Yeah.
hey, mom life, all the more reason. Like I was joking that friend of mine, she's got a husband. She's like, don't offer me up like American visa. Like I'll marry you just to get my damn visa. don't don't
Uh,
put it past me. I'll take you up on that offer. Like
mm-hmm.
she's like the way UK and all of us are like how even like nowadays. She's like, don't give me that offer of getting a married visa and getting my American like dual citizenship. Don't make me that offer. I'll take you up on it. I'm like, don't you have a husband? He'll agree
Yeah.
with me because he'll come with me like later on. He'll let me
Mm-hmm.
marry you just to get my dual citizenship, to get like my citizenship, and then I'll remarry him and bring him and the kids over. I'm like, I like your idea, but she's like,
Yeah.
don't offer me the American dual citizenship, the easy path of becoming an American citizen, like with a dual citizenship. Don't make an offer if you're not willing. And I'm like, what?
Oh, marriage. You can get arranged marriage. There you
What? So
go.
J.K. Rowling made a tweet, something normal, yet she was arrested in Scotland for a tweet. What the fuck?
Wait. Let me see. UK is getting crazy now. If you talk about holy shit, ban
Yeah, it's a
from.
new law that just went into Scotland. If you make a tweet insulting somebody,
Mm-hmm.
so
Wow.
J.K. Rowling just got arrested for freedom of speech, like just thinking out loud on a tweet. She
Mm-hmm.
was arrested. I guarantee she'll never come back to Scotland. If
Yeah.
that's the fucking case, I'm afraid to show up to Scotland. My
Mm.
ass be going right to jail. Don't pass go, don't collect 200. My ass be
I
in
am.
jail.
Yeah. I don't trust going into any other country.
So
Oh
does that
god.
mean if you go against your football team and you talk shit about the other football team or their fans, your ass is going to jail?
Right.
How the fuck's that gonna work? Because you got the rivals of the football team rivals, like longtime fucking feuds and rivals. Does that mean if you talk shit about another fucking football team, like fans, your ass is going to jail? I don't see
Mm-hmm.
that lasting very long.
Right.
You're gonna have freaking uprising and like Civil War. Enough people go to jail for fucking stupid shit. I could see
Mm-hmm.
an uprising Civil War just to get that shit gone.
Yeah.
If we did that in America, you don't think there'd be a Civil War and uprising?
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say it, but I see a Scotland like a UK fucking revolt, armed revolt, and I could see Scots shooting their own like live bullets.
Mm-hmm.
Because you remember before all this in Ukraine and before Zelensky took office,
Yeah.
where Ukraine years back was shooting their own, like
Oh.
protesting and rioting and all that. They were
Yeah.
live bullets shooting their own.
Oh. And then we helped them with more.
Well, it was after, but then I'm sitting here like Trump's campaign was like Crimea. You already lost it unless you do something to them to give it back. We're not gonna help you get Crimea back. Like that's just a lost cause.
Well, I'll tell
I'm
you
like,
what. I'm
if
not.
truthfully, if I was able-bodied, like I gotta put it this way. I don't know where you're sitting on that, but when President Clinton had them get rid of their nukes with the guarantee of the United States and our allies would come to their defense, if they would give up their nukes, they would be their nuclear warheads, like their missiles, if they gave that up, they'll be protected by us and our allies will come to their defense.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll make you a part of NATO if you give up your nukes. Well, they give
Yeah.
up their nukes. That would be one hell of a deterrent. Do you think Putin would invade a nuclear nation? Even if
Uh,
it's Soviet nukes, like they can easily repurpose those nukes and put them
mhm.
in new warheads, like and new missiles. But Clinton is what gave them give up your nukes. Will give you NATO access, and us
Yeah.
and our uh, allies will come to your defense.
Mhm.
Now what the fuck? So that's one thing I don't agree with.
Yeah.
Football fans, rivals, and they don't mind. It looks like just you talked about royal family, trans law. That's a no-no, and others no free speech left. That's a damn shame. Well, hey, mum
Trans.
life. Hey,
What is
mum
that?
life. Oh, like anti-trans law. You can't talk shit about trans.
Oh, okay. Well, you shouldn't, anyways.
Hey, hey, mum life. You want a dual citizenship? I married you just to bring you over here. We got free speech over here.
That's funny.
That's the same friend of mine. Watch. She'd be like, "Don't make me that offer you if you don't mean it." That's the same thing. Like she said, I got a husband right now, but even he'll agree. Hey, if it
Oh,
gets dual citizenship and me citizenship in America, and I
yeah.
remarry him and bring him over,
Mm-hmm.
she's like, "Don't make me that offer. I'll take you up on it." She's like, "I love America. You got more freedoms than we do."
Oh God, that's
I'm like,
scary. Not anymore. Sorry, I know you're a trumpet.
"What
I can't.
sexually taught?" See, I agree with you right here on that. Like right here in America,
Yeah.
those are our babies, and when you're having like kids going up to school, uh,
Mhm.
school board and reading off books that they're finding in their library about a little boy sucking another little boy's dick or like talking sexual like in these books and these teachers like these lefty losing it teachers are assigning these books to these kids and these kids are they themselves bringing up this should not be allowed and there's kids like little kids going up in front of school board members and this is what's allowed in our library. We're the same way. I don't care if you're gay, straight, bi, whatever. I've had exes bi, like I've had friends of mine, like hell, I've got family that's gay. I don't hate, you know what I mean? But am I gonna suck a dick? No. But when you have LGBT like Aspen Connor saying that I'm attacking a innocent person, I understand he's LGBT and has to come to Paige Turley's defense. But the protective order I got as an active FBI informant turned witness, and her actions that got me that protective order, it kept her and the other third parties from acting on me for a year. The break ins, the broken windows, the actions they did, I had to mutually break my lease at the apartment I had where I was going to when I stopped to help Karina. They figured out where I lived because her grandmother next door, the two junkies, one of them she worked with, she had her grandmother rent out the apartment next door. So I had two junkies of her best friends, uh, always wanting to start war with me, like start fights, like always wanting to like come over and like lay their damn hands on me. And it's because what their best friend. Then my downstairs neighbor, it was like Jerry Springer during the day, 24/7, 365. Especially when Paige came over, they would raise all kinds of hell. Then it was like a nightclub at night, and you can tell her and her married boyfriend that came over was always right below me. You get the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Always exaggerating things where it was like a living, breathing hell.
Yeah.
And to know for a damn sure, like fact, uh, Paige Shirley got rid of her truck that she used in
Mhm.
Karina's. Got a
Yeah.
light colored Mustang, paper plates. How I knew that was, lo and behold, when she would come down and visit my downstairs neighbor. She
Oh.
tried saying after Karina's that she was beaten and raped, and even the downstairs neighbor mentioned, like, after she left,
Mm-hmm.
if she was beaten and raped and everything like she's saying, she
Yeah.
didn't have a scratch on her.
Really?
Then right after Delphi, where she showed back up on her grandmother's Jimmy, green Jimmy,
Mm-hmm.
uh, she was telling the downstairs neighbor, "Oh, hey, what happened to your Mustang? Oh, I got in a serious wreck up towards Walton, and it's gone."
Oh.
But again, even I looked and I kind of got out of even the neighbors. She's like, if she got in a wreck again, she doesn't have a scratch on her. But this downstairs neighbor, and she was allowing her kids around one that was involved with more than one missing and murder, including kids.
Oh.
And how it did not click in Paige's head who I was, because I thought it was fucking funny.
Right.
Because when I had flyers of Karina McClurkin,
Mm-hmm.
and I openly was telling her best friend, I'm Karina McClurkin's federal witness right there in front of her. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
clicking. And when it did, they started acting. It got 10 times worse after Delphi.
Really?
Like literally. Break ins, I had my screen door fucked up. I've had to get locks and my door fixed more than once.
Mm-hmm.
I've had things flipped upside down, go missing,
But cold.
meds,
Look out. The camera's
yeah,
out.
yeah, meds go missing, and
Wow.
I already knew who it was.
Yeah.
So I proved with the stalking, the intimidation, the harassment, the threats, the actions that her and her friends were doing,
Yeah.
it got the protective order. And
Mm-hmm.
all this, their actions, what the fuck they were doing on who and what I was, and the FBI agent, he was just sitting on it and allowed me to become that federal victim
Mm-hmm.
and was letting this shit happen. So I was like, you know what? I was starting to look up the laws and I was like, you know what? I've got to seal this in, proving the victimization that was going on. I had to get it on court document. Like, I had to get this on record. Like, this
Yeah.
is going on. This is the shit I was going through. And it got 10 times worse after Delphi. And I was granted a protective order.
Yeah.
And you got ones like Aspen Connors calling her innocent, then Jerry McClurkin saying she had nothing to do with Karina's case. And I've got
Mm-hmm.
ones like Blaine Nelson. How can Jerry say Paige had nothing to do with Karina's case? She's a liar.
Right.
That came from Blaine Nelson that was there, had no control of it, but then talks about the same bathroom. Like, how I got that was from Marlena. And I didn't give out all the details, but I just happened to ask him, was there a hole in that bathroom? He was like, yeah, it was behind a mirror. It's
Oh.
probably fixed by now, but yeah, it was behind a mirror in her bathroom on the wall. They put a mirror in front of it. And I'm like, whoa, do you realize what you just said? He was like, what? I was like, word for word. Marlena Smith said she was contacted by the ones that killed her daughter, and she was given a tour of the crime scene.
Really?
Yep. She told me she came, picked up her glasses and cell phone. And
Mm-hmm.
mind you, when I stopped and was helping Karina before Paige got there, she went from having about 70% battery to it was damn near dead. She was
Yeah.
worried that her phone was going to die before somebody could get there.
Mm-hmm.
So for Marlena, and this is what's in Karina's cell data. My name is Mike. Hey, this is Michael Phillips. You gave me your phone number last night. I'm texting you to make sure you got home safe.
Mm-hmm.
Well, whoever had her cell phone didn't realize the promise she made me. The reason
Mm.
she gave me her phone number
Yeah.
was so I can get a hold of you tomorrow and make sure you got home safe.
Right.
If she was the one, even Jerry said she had her cell phone. Oh, she left it behind. I'm like, that made no sense, Jerry, because even you said you got text messages and voicemails that you got of Karina McClurkin October
Mm-hmm.
10th going into the 11th, where you
Yeah.
said you missed texts and phone calls from Karina, but you're trying to paint it off as she left her cell phone behind and Marlena got a hold of you off of her cell phone
Mm-hmm.
when even Marlena admitted where she had her cell phone.
Right.
So who was the one that sent back, yes, thank you for everything, if she was dead and Marlena was the only one that came and picked up her cell phone? And
Mm-hmm.
about noon, 1 o'clock that day, when I texted, hey, my name's Michael Phillips. Hey, this is Michael Phillips, the one that helped you last night. Did you make home?
Yeah.
And yes, thank you for everything. It was eerily, Paige said, thank you for everything. Appreciate it. And
Wow.
for that to be said in that text message, and it goes back to her cell data.
Yeah.
My name is on that
Okay.
text.
Are you saying you don't think that was her that texted you back?
Mm-mm. She was supposed to have been dead.
Oh. Okay.
So her mom came and got her cell phone. Even Cherry admitted that. Uh,
Yeah.
Marlena called her off of Karina's cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Oh.
like, she had her cell phone, and that's how I got the number. And between her and Paige Turley, how do you know Paige?
Yeah.
Oh, the only reason she's in my cell phone was even her and Paige both agreed. The only reason she's in her cell phone is because it's one of her sister's ex-girlfriends.
Mm.
And Karina broke that down. The only reason I have her number in my phone is it's my sister's ex-girlfriend. And Paige sat there and said, yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it was, but when she stopped to help Karina, I gave her my, like, I had a heavy wool, like, what do you call it? Like, I hate bringing it up like this, but God, what are those?
Look at Vindelanders.
No, it's a heavy wool, like full head to like down to my ankles, like
Really?
um jacket. What are these called? Here, I'll bring up like um the mass shooters on fucking that school. They wore the trench coat. There we go.
Okay.
So I had a heavy wool trench coat, and I had like an Under Armour shirt under.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here like you can see steam rolling off me. I'm burning up like in this
Mm-hmm.
heavy wool trench coat. It
Yeah.
didn't button up or anything, but I was using that trench coat as a wall. Like Karina was hiding behind me,
Mm-hmm.
and I was had my hands in my pockets and had it winged out where I was a big wall with that
Yeah.
trench coat where she was hiding behind texting and calling.
Mm-hmm.
And what is weird is she didn't say she left Gabe's, not Gabe's, but Flint's. And where Flint Farmer was behind us, like Village Pantry, like BP,
Yeah.
she wasn't looking back towards Flint's. And come to
Mm.
find out, where Gabe Ellis's daughter's apartment was, is
Yeah.
where she was looking back towards. And if they
Mm.
see me, I'm as good as dead. She kept resounding that. And if I'd moved, or if she thought if somebody in that direction was staring and looking at us, I cannot like describe the bone chilling feeling. You know when somebody's watching you and no matter how hard you look, you can't see where those eyes, the bone chill, like you can feel somebody's watching you. And even being trained, no matter how hard you looked in any direction, I couldn't get that feeling to like shake off
Mhm.
because even being trained and situation awareness, like my uh sight, my senses, smell, and Marlena made it sound like, oh, that's fucking disgusting because I can remember like if I smelt the perfume that Karina had
Mhm.
on, if I
Yeah.
smelt that again, I tell you that's the exact perfume she had on that day. I brought that
Yeah.
up to her. Oh, that's fucking disgusting. My senses were heightened.
Oh
So
yeah.
just the smell of like a perfume, I can tell you
Mm.
that's Karina's perfume. If
Mhm.
I would to smell that again, I know this scent.
Yeah.
And she doesn't understand the heightened senses, including sight, sound,
Oh
smell.
yeah. Supersonic
When
one.
you
One is that.
feel, when you feel that there is a threat nearby, your senses heighten. And when I brought up
Mm.
that, I guarantee I can tell you what Karina's perfume
Yeah.
that she had on, if I was to smell that again, I brought that up to her. Oh, that's fucking disgusting. I'm like, it ain't disgusting when she had a certain perfume on and I can remember the smell. How's that fucking disgusting, Marlena? Like she
Yeah.
was trying to pin it off like, oh, you're fucking disgusting. How's it disgusting when she had a certain perfume on and it
Yeah.
couldn't have been even like like recent. It just like a perfume she'd have on her clothes. Like that's
Mhm.
hers. Like I'm
Right.
telling you, if I smelt that smell again, like and that's the perfume, I'm like, that's the
Mhm.
one she was wearing that night. Or had
Yeah.
on her clothes that night.
Yep.
But Gabe Ellis's jailhouse confessions, she left Flint Farmers alive. I stopped and helped her where I said I stopped and helped her. She was picked up by who she was picked up by, brought her out to his trailer. Like he said that all in Jailhouse confessions. And then you have Jerry McClurkin hearing that yes, Paige Shirley picked her up and brought her out to his trailer.
Mhm.
You got to keep in mind, she said Gabe Ellis is like her second son, newer son from the age of 17. But then later on said, I never knew Gabe in my life. And I'm like, changing up her own stories. Why are all these people and the families involved with these victims? What is with the ever changing stories?
Right. Well, all their stories have changed. Every single fucking person in that town. You know.
Okay, we're gonna get back to your Q&A.
Okay.
Marilyn
Okay.
Monroe.
So Marilyn Monroe. Yeah. Maybe she wants to know the same shit I want to know.
Yep.
So okay. Listen. Why do I not feel like Derek has anything to do with it? And that's just been the narrative that's been fed. We know that he's an informant. We know he was supposed to be in jail at the time, but he was not, him or Cody. Okay. Something happened on the 7th with Cody Patty, with Libby present. He reset the phones and he ordered the execution of both girls. Now, Kelsey had to be part of that. You know what I'm saying?
But you
Like,
gotta remember, it's not just Derek that could
I
have
know.
rolled or had incentives.
That's what I'm saying. I think that
Dustin Prater, his co-defendant, he failed at an appeal, and I brought up Dustin, and I didn't even get to finish the last name. A friend of like the co-defendant of Derek, and him being friends with Tyler Joe French, you get the idea. But when it comes to his co-defendant, Dustin Prater, he tried doing an appeal, lost his appeal. He was livid, pissed off, knowing Derek walked and he failed, like his appeal didn't go through. He had to sit in prison
well,
doing his
there.
full stint.
I mean, it sucks because when you become an informant, like you're being the tattletale, but you're kind of helping solve stuff, or you're protecting your ass and making sure that these people are putting away. You know what I'm saying? So,
Oh yeah.
my thing is like I don't think you would
And you can
have.
still hear me well, can't you?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, my left headphone like battery died.
Yeah, I was
Please
waiting.
recharge. So I have to put my left one in on the little charger
Yeah,
thing. So I had to put my right one still going.
yeah. I always use one at a time while the other one is charging.
And I don't know if I was to go like if my right headphone dies, if like I've never done it without headphones, so I don't know if it's gonna have bad reverb. I've seen some like Bob and like even Julie. That fucking bitch, that fucking like me and Julie don't really see eye to eye, but if some of these same pieces of shit, like that one came up on Julie's live, bitch, you're fucking lucky the cops are here. The felon and walked up to Julie, you're fucking lucky the cops are here, bitch. And yeah, there has been info talked about. But yeah, I'm gonna get back where kind of what Maryland wants and guarantee a bunch of others. So I'm just gonna but that's kind of my take. When I brought up Dustin Prater and his friends like Tyler Joe French and stuff to like Becky and Anna, the two different conversations, Becky swore up and down she talks to Carter everyone like loyally, she'll pass this all along to Carter. What I seen instead was the ties and connections, the friends list, everything. They all deleted, hid it, omitted it. Instead of passing it on to Carter, it's like she told everybody that I talked to her about and brought up to her what I was able to find, what I was able to make the ties and connections, and each and every single one of them went and hid everything that I was able to bring up to her. Does she forget that it's all documented still to this day? Not only that, I screenshot everything. I still got all the conversations I had with Becky and Anna. I'm waiting for you to come back. Where you at, woman? I'm waiting for it. Where's the notification? Where you at? But yes, that's one thing I even brought up to Becky and Anna both, along with the names and the even telling them, hey, I was the reason the FBI was already in town. I was bringing that up to them. But when it comes to Dustin Prater being friends with like Tyler Joe French, the other dealers turned killers, all he had to simply do was have a phone call or ask Derek, hey, where you at? What are you doing? I got to go pick up the girls from the Moan on High Bridge, like such time, and relay that information back to like his friends, Tyler and others. And his motive of doing that is, like I said, if you look up his ammonia theft charge, he tried to doing a pill. He lost his appeal while he was sitting behind bars, fuming pissed, wanting vengeance because his partner was able to walk out, no charges, while he's sitting behind bars. It could be something as simple as a payback of feeding information back to like Tyler and his other friends. Like that could very well possibly be a possible help of why what happened and how they would get information. But you got to keep in mind when it comes to Keegan Klein, it's not Keigan. He's trying to sound like his good buddy, Keigan Klein. Not Keigan Klein, but Keigan Kalis. That's where the Keigan came from. But you got to keep in mind when it comes to Keegan, I was actually introduced to him, his first girlfriend, before he broke up with her. They broke up, and he got with Abriana Walters' uh, cousin. That was who he's with when he got arrested. Was living with Abriana Walters' cousin. But when it comes to Abriana Walter, he was hanging around her brother and around them, and it only came out that they were together. But to be introduced to Keegan Klein, three houses down, knowing that my felt like pretty much my two daughters when I was with my ex for years are outside playing in water in bathing suits and everything, and coming to find out three houses down, his dad Steve and his vehicle showing up all the time, three houses down at Abriana Waters and her family's, and to find out who Keegan Klein was. I actually asked my ex and brought up the picture. Hey, you remember we got introduced by Abriana and her family as Keegan as her boyfriend. You remember that? When they were all sitting out front in the stoop, like there's steps that used to go up to a door on Abriana's house. But it had old steps that used to go up to a front porch. But that's when Abriana Potter and her mom and stepdad and her family introduced me and my ex and her two kids as, hey, this is Keegan, hey, this is my boyfriend. So if you see him over here all the time, that's who he is, and this is kind of uh, why he's coming over. So if you see him coming, leaving all the time, this is who Keegan is. And when it came to some pictures that he was sharing, there was a close longtime friend with Abriana where that's a Brie. The messed up picture, I know without a doubt that's a Brie. That's Brie. But to be introduced to Keegan Klein as her boyfriend it disgusts me. But when it comes to Derek, if it wasn't directly him, but like I said, his partner tried to do an appeal to get less time, failed his appeal, and had to sit back in prison his full time. So to be pissed off, getting out of prison, knowing your partner got no time, walked scot free, didn't have to spend a day behind prison while your ass was stuck behind bars, and to have friends like Tyler Joe French, among others, that go back to their cartel ring that they were involved with, that were supplied by, sitting on his friends list, it makes me wonder, putting two and two together. And you'll see in conversations I had with Becky Patty, I said Dustin, she ended up finishing like who Dustin was. Prater? Question mark. I was like, yeah, Dustin Prater. And I was bringing up the fact that his appeal on pneumonia theft, he felt his appeal and how he was friends with Tyler Joe French, among other names. And when I brought up Tyler Joe French picture to Becky, oh my God, who is he? Where's he from? When I brought up the name Tyler Joe French, oh, I've heard that name. So the third party suspects, and among other killers like Garrett Kurtz, Ashley Garth, Jennifer Dean, Corey Dean, like there's over 6 people sitting behind bars involved with that cartel drug ring when it comes to murders. They're all sitting behind bars. And they're all family friends like Terry, Brad, German, Derek. They're all sitting friends with like ones like Jennifer Dean. Her and Corey Dean were the last 2 from that drug ring that left that trap house in Florida. I've got locals from Florida talking about the worn path to and from that house and how they were using that house as a trap drug house. And there's locals with pictures before Florida ever happened of traffic in and out of that house. And when law enforcement asked Galen about the traffic that was in and out of that house, and would she care about talking about that traffic and the events that was going on in that house? No. And you realize when Meow, the Zong, uh, when Meow was starting to make the ties and connections back to the drug ring, they made sure to disembowel her and slander the fuck out of her. She doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. She's a liar. When she finally started listening and started making 2 and 2 plus, like 2 plus 2 equals 4, and she started talking about this, how fast they slandered her, made her look like an idiot. Uh, even the news, they made sure to make that girl out as a liar. She was a con artist, blah blah blah. And Jinx, don't forget Jinx, her husband. Remember where she admits that one of her husbands was a dealer? Yeah, that inbred little Jinx bitch. Man, I wish she'd keep my fucking name out of her fucking little inbred mouth. But I even brought this up to Becky, and there's full conversations. I can prove that I brought this up. Not only that, but I was showing her messages between me and my FBI handler, down to proving to her that's why FBI was already up there in Delphi. It was the investigation I was part of, and my BAFI files is what had them up in Delphi. But when I was bringing up like Dustin Prater, his ties and connections back to this drug ring, even still active, like I made sure to bring up like his appeal and how even he had a vendetta against his co-defendant, Derek. And I brought this up to Anna. Oh, so are you saying fucking Derek fucking had a hand in his daughter getting murdered? So you're trying to tell me Derek fucking told somebody that where his daughter was and when he was supposed to pick him up, this, that, and the other. So you're trying to say Derek had something to do with his own daughter's murder. I'm like, I never fucking said that, Anna. I was bringing up the fact that like Dustin Prater, his co-defendant, he felt that his appeal had one hell of a vendetta and pissed off, had to sit years behind bars in prison when his appeal failed. That's day in, day out. Every single day he had to do in prison, sitting there pissed off with a personal vendetta. But then for him to show up around like Tyler French, Gabriel Ellis, around other names that were already suspects in other missing and murdered case, like, what the fuck? And I'm guessing Shawshank, But yeah, in the comments, so like Marilyn, if you guys have questions, I'll try to answer the best I can. And I know Shawshank, she's been trying to do the Q&A with me, but if you put some of the questions in there, and like she and others straight up attacked Derek and the family, if he went informant and made cases with the state and locals, and if the ones he made the cases against acted out, what happened to the informant and witness protections, especially if murders happen to the informant turned witness that made their cases? That includes their family. They know the cases that they made based off his intel and who against. And for Doug Carter to come out and straight out lie to the public, the threat no longer remains active. There is no threat to the general public, aka the general public. Where he lied is the troubled community, the same troubled community. Jeremy Patterson, 96 days after Delphi, lost his life. The same criminal network down in Indianapolis, tied back to Delphi, Karina. You've got an IMPD officer. There is ties and connections being made, and further connections that have already been made back to what you're showing me. Then you have IMPD begging for information, but yet, like Indiana State Troopers, Miami, and Lafayette Post, Todd Click, among others, they knew intel and they knew suspects just like the FBI and my handler. They knew suspects that were involved in one missing and murdered case that went on to do other cases. They knew intel and suspects. And it's just like the same time frame, 2016 through 2018. The two Florida mass shootings were multiple kids and adults alike. If you look up where the FBI, they were tipped off on both murder suspects. They did investigations. They dropped the ball. There was adults and kids alike mass murdered. In both these times, the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force, Florida, after 2016, we knew intel. We refused to act. It won't happen again. Only for it to happen again 2 years later and for them to come out and do the same thing. We knew intel. We refused to act. We're sorry. The same time frame, multiple missing murdered cases here. Michael Curtis and the FBI knew intel, had suspects already domestic terrorism threat to life, turned from being domestic terrorists, just a threat, to an actual murder suspect. And they set on this intel on these suspects and the missing and murdered cases that they're involved with. They knew intel on, just like Ron Logan's property. The surveillance that the FBI was doing on his property from the 10th through the 12th. The only reason they went back the 13th was the contact information, the addresses, places of work. They were confirming. And if it was not the current up to date, they were searching these people down and finding their current addresses, places of work, and documenting that if what they had, like Curtis Beck, was old. They did not realize where he moved into Jeremy Patterson's apartment. They were having me as an FBI informant interact with this suspect just to find out where he was living at. And like I've said from the very get go, they knew suspects, just like Curtis Beck, who helped that drug ring that he belongs to, and his friend, Alan Tinker. They set up that whole Him and Jeremy Patterson going to the store where Alan was sitting and wait. I guarantee if you look up Curtis Beck's cell data, hey, we're on our way. Hey, we're here. It was planned and premeditated. FBI knew, refused to act. And everybody thought I was nuts and I was a laughing stock when I was talking about the Joint Terrorism Task Force already having an investigation already being in Delphi. I was a laughing stock, kicked off of lives, laughed at. But what's on record right now in Delphi? On the record, yes, we were already on an investigation. That Odinism investigation started days right after Karina McClurkin's case. They were more worried about that Odinism, those names, and only the names they wanted. But yet, when I was proving 2016, go look at Gabriel Ellis's Facebook. This is the shit I'm talking about. And then he was tagging Kyle Stacy and others on Odinism posts, 2016. And oh, the Odinism angle isn't involved? Look at Nick Edwards, still practicing Odinism along with his wife. I think it's either Amanda or Amber Edwards actually carving their gods, like carving into wood, like their gods, all his weapons on his wall. His friends, who, what they are, Garrett Kurtz, Jennifer Barnes, Dean, more than one murderer. Nick sits friends with. Garrett Kurtz tried rolling and trying to paint the picture as it was a phone call that Ashley got from Nick Edwards, where he tells her about receiving snuff and gore, film and pictures of the Delphi murders. One thing he's not telling you, it was a friend of his, even his, that you can still find right now with Nick Edwards. I documented every single one of his friends. He's still a practicing Odinist. And you think Odinists aren't involved with Carinus? Yes. That's where some of them already became blood brothers and sisters after their involvement in her case. They took a blood oath of secrecy. Became blood brothers and sisters down to the point where they had their kids calling each other uncles, aunts, and then nieces and nephews. Clay Nelson's own life that I did with him, he talks about that at the very end. Naming Gabe, Kyle, himself as brothers. I had asked Tot Rubo, his mom, is he any relation to any of these individuals, like blood relation to be brothers? No. I don't know why he's saying that. I don't know why he's claiming that. So why he's calling Gabe Ellis's daughter his niece and his sons like nieces and nephews? It was making her disgusted. She could not figure out, why are you claiming that he's your brother and those are your nieces and nephews when they're not? They're no family relation whatsoever to him. That's why. And they took a oath of secrecy after each murder. A blood oath of secrecy. I don't think Shawshank's coming back. I'm trying, if you guys have questions, you want me to kind of get into the details and the content and everything like that. Like when I'm trying to do these lives, I've got some I've got in my mind I want to talk about. Like there's so much I've got I know I've got the hard copies, the intel, like it's in my head, and I'm trying the best way I can to slow it down, bring it up, and kind of make it make sense and kind of slow things down the best I can. But like Marilyn just brought that up, and I'm like, it wasn't just a regular phone call. If you listen close on what I was saying, there's intel, there's content like that goes back into exactly what you're wanting if you're listening. Like Shawshank, like she busts me on this because I get talking or get off subject. Like I try to stay on subject, but then there's some other like subject matter I kind of get on talking with. I'm not meaning to. It just if the questions aren't coming, then I start talking and kind of just get off subject. And it's not that I'm purposely meaning to. It's just kind of, hey, if subject matter isn't there, then I bring something up and kind of start talking about something just to fill the gap. I think Shawshank, her phone had to die or something because she hasn't been back. But if anybody's got questions, I'll try to answer the questions as best I can and kind of give you what you want. But one thing I'm going to tell you to do, and I've told everybody to do this from the very get-go to make it make sense and kind of to be able to see what I'm able to see, make the ties and connections back to the cases. Look up dealers, raids, Flora, Delphi, Kokomo. Find those social media of those dealers and the ones that were picked up. You'll see the criminal network analysis, like the mugshots, the raids, where they're all these names are tied and connected on the criminal network analysis. Well, this is where these dealers, they're addicts that were their customers, they would add each other on social media. So the social media network analysis, it's the same criminal network like Ricardo Espinoza, Allison Langley, which is now Allison Espinoza, his wife. Uh, he goes by Ricky Twist Espinoza. He is a member of Mobile Ground Shakers, a ranking member at that for years. So that shows where motorcycle clubs like Mobile Ground Shakers, Sin City, the Dragons MC, Milwaukee Iron, all these motorcycle clubs have dealers that were involved in these raids sitting as patched, collared members. And collared as in patched. Some MCs go by collars. We're wearing our collars instead of like patches and vest. They go by, oh, it's our collars. But if you look, Ricky Twist Espinoza, he talks about Mobile 765, where he is a member of Mobile Ground Shakers. Within Mobile Ground Shakers, one of the hangarounds that ended up killing a black woman and holding her boyfriend hostage, give us your COVID payment or we're going to kill your boyfriend that was hogtied in a tub. It was more than one missing and now a murdered case that those same individuals were involved with. Brittany Cossey. And then there was a step family of Jeremy Dodd that was involved with her murder, and him and his brother. He was a hangaround, which a hangaround, somebody that hangs around, not patched, not a member, but treated as such because his brother hung around Mobile Ground Shakers all the time. and how I figured out Jeremy Dodd and these two, their family relations, their ties to the mobile ground shakers, was Brewster Fitz on outside one of the courthouse. I actually have my cell phone running. It was live, and I wasn't live, but I was recording where he waltzed right up and had me walk up with him with Jeremy Dodd, his squad car. And then I asked him after, why are you so comfortable with a KPD officer, and walked right up to his car while he was talking about this ex so and so card member and his brother are actually family of Jeremy and Jack Dodd. And this is how. Told me everything. And I can show you still to this day when I start breaking down these cases, the corruption, I can show you ones like Jack Dodd, Jeremy Dodd, ISP. I still got this documented. Indiana State Police told KPD not to hire their new officer, Jeremy Dodd. Why? Because when he was a Rougeaville town marshal, which is like the chief of police, his falsifying records and corruption, Indiana State Police told KPD not to hire. Well, his dad was a politician and forced, just like Kevin Summers, forced KPD to hire his son, just like Kevin Summers forced the city of Kokomo to hire his son. Well, guess what I can show you still to this day to ones like Jack Dodd, Jeremy Dodd, Paul Wyman, Greg Goodnight, the sitting mayor now, where I can actually show you right now in that protective order. I've got the new chief of police and the mayor of Kokomo, their fingerprints. I haven't opened that folder. Their fingerprints. And the explanation I told them why I'm showing you this when it comes to in regards to Karina McClurkin's case, they can't say they've never talked to me or ever seen that because I've got the fingerprints of the sitting chief now that said if they hired Kevin Summers' son, he was going to be a Brady violation, proving that his dad was corrupt when he was a KPD officer, along with other corrupt KPD officers. If they were to hire his son, he'd be an instant Brady violation officer. Look that up. The lawsuit he did. Not so much now when you can look it up and validate yourselves. But instead of keep going on, we're about 2 hours now, and I'm probably going to go ahead and get off here. But no matter how the verdict plays off tomorrow, if it's a hung jury or guilty, the appeals, look up the law. Indiana State Police and the locals didn't see coming. Missing witness law. The fact that I've got them in writ and recorded conversations, my PTSD is why I should not be a credible federal anything on more than one case. They're refusing a federal witness. My testimony, well, they can't keep me from the stand more than one case. But look up the missing witness law. I'm going to attack them in more than one way. I've got Indiana State Police, the FBI, Carroll County, which Hammond and Mullins. I've got the full conversations where they opened Karina McClurkin's case as a missing and murdered case, and under Hammond's own email, under the header of the Delphi investigation, is what they opened Karina's case under. that I've shown openly. It's another case that they are sitting silent on and don't want you to look at. But I want you to keep in mind Flint Farmer gave Alice's jailhouse confessions. He had nothing to do with her case. She left his place alive, but yet, since the day they picked him up, he's been in solitary confinement 24/7, 365, 23 hours a day. Just like another one they made sure to railroad. But guess what? Much you try, I've got a criminal psychiatrist as well as my acting psychiatrist, knowing damn well I'm willing to take the stand as a federal informant, witness, and victim on more than one missing and murdered case, and they're willing to take the stand beside me. I am of sound mind and body. And they have the documentation, the physical notes to back that up. So you're telling me the locals, Carroll County, Howard County, Indiana State Police, the same state police that had Liberty German and 40 child exploitation cases sitting cold on their desk, that 2018 video, listen real close, real hard. Liberty German 2018 was one of those 40 cases sitting on their desk due to manpower and funding. They swear up and down it's not a federal issue, it's a state and local issue. They refuse to get the FBI involved, even though they admit money and manpower. So, funding and manpower, one detective, one case at a time. How's that becoming of the Indiana State Police, Carter? I've got more than you think on your state troopers sitting. Were there suspects in my files like Frank Castiello and over 3 dozen militia members sitting friends with your Tony Slocum? Frank Castiello goes back to federal issues more than one. How's that becoming of an Indiana State Trooper? Oh, I've got his friends list where it comes down to the Mexico border, the federal policia, the local police, the border patrol on the Mexican side. Then on the exact same opposite side, the same exact same on the Texas side. What's the Indiana State Trooper needing that for? Riddle me that. When these federal lawsuits come out, there's no hiding. This RICO investigation, it's coming. Indiana State Police, there's a reason they kicked the FBI off. It's the corruption even within the Indiana State Police. Do you realize so many friends of Brad Holders was sitting right there on Tony Slocum's friends list? I'm about to come out swinging left and right, but I'm about to take the stand one way or another. Maybe sooner than you realize. But the missing witness law, tick-tock, tick-tock. The appeals is going federal if it comes to it. More than one case. What you're hiding, along with the politicians, the Good Old Boys Club, the money laundering, the cartel's ties and connections, like Blaine McClellan Dilling, Nita Duff's son Dilling out of her house, the politicians, their family's involvement, their friends, their money laundering. Wait till you see every appraisal that MVP appraisals did and for who. You can still find that. Every appraisal they've done. The inflation of newly bought property, nothing done to it, and inflating the appraisals. And then were certain appraisals, assessors like Nita Duff, Martha Lake, paid to look the other way. oh, you did nothing to this property. So how does it go from 50,000 to $120,000 with nothing done? And you just took ownership of this property? Look up the Wagner Clinic, the land, and Paul Wyman, Bob Lashley's, selling it to Paul Wyman for $1,500, including the buildings and 35 plus acres. Then look what Paul Wyman turned around for a $1,500 investment. He's getting, I think it was 125 to 130, 150,000 per acre. The millions he's making off the federal HUD, the new federal HUD housing going on that property. It's a hell of a comeback, hell of a turnaround. $1,500 gets you millions. Wait till I show like Mark McCann, some business partners of his, not just money laundering, the fake businesses, the ghost employment, the money laundering going on with fake businesses, just like Daniel Mitz, setting business partner along with more than one of his partners with ones like Mark McCann. Many of these politicians can't afford this drug ring going down because their own money, their campaign contributions from this ring, it's taken this cartel drug ring decades to even get a sitting Kokomo senator on their payroll.